From time to time, we have had a chance to talk to Olivier DROUIN. He is the head of a site. If you haven't seen this yet on Twitter, and as a parent, if you have a child in school, it's something you really should be checking. In fact, that's how the site actually got started, with parents letting him know what was actually going on in schools with respect to COVID, because the government wasn't at the time. Well, he's done a terrific job since then, still maintains the site, and published something over the weekend that I think kind of caused a lot of parents to raise their eyebrows, thinking that the situation as far as CO2 levels in classrooms was under control. Olivier DROUIN is back on the line right now. Olivier, thanks for being with us again today.
Good afternoon.
Bring us up to date on the situation now. This seemed to be a problem that had been solved. I know Bernard Dranville, the new education minister, said back last month that things were under control. What's the real story now?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, we had a change of tone with the new minister when he came in. He basically recognized the issue and pledged that he was going to solve it. So 110 days later, no action, and actually it's getting a little bit worse now, and because the minister over the weekend declared on Twitter that now the new norm for Quebec schools, the CO2 norm, would be 1,500 and below, instead of what has been recognized internationally as between 800 and 1,000. And up to that point, even Minister Roberge had said that he was aiming for 1,000 ppm. Again, this is a weekly average calculation, which kind of includes times from 8 to 4, even when kids are not in class. So that norm in itself can be debated. But the long story short, over the weekend, is that there was an article that came out in CBC Radio-Canada that stated that more than 33% now of classes are above the 1,000 mark, the 1,000 ppm in class. What happens is during the day, of course, as more students come in and stay for many hours, that level of CO2 goes up. And if there's no ventilation, then the level of transmission, you're pretty much breathing somebody else's air. So the risk that you catch a COVID or another respiratory virus is extremely high.
So it seems to me you're describing, a case where the government moved the goalposts here.
He's skewing the numbers.
Yeah. It's the same numbers, but minimizing the situation by using a different norm. Exactly. So moving the goalposts, you're right. Good analogy.
Okay. So what now? The minister obviously is not commenting beyond what he said, I guess, then. What's the what do you think is going to happen here going forward? Are we still back to this idea of open a window?
That is the general directive that has been sent out to all of the schools and classes right now. The only solution is open the window. The second solution has been, if you need them, that's the minister speaking, we're going to send you air exchanger. So the hard facts behind that is that there's over 90,000 classes or rooms where students learn in Quebec. And he's ordered 1,500 air exchangers, wow. And he's only received 500 so far. So imagine the amount of issues that are out there. So, of course, he's going to try to minimize the situation and try to come up with metrics that tell a different story. But like myself, a citizen advocate, and some aerosol experts, there's so many people watching, so many pairs of eyes on this issue for the last almost 3 years that we're very educated, and he cannot pull a fast one.
By the way, that was a startled laugh from you.
Oh, my God. Yeah. What I don't understand here, Olivier, is, like you said, 3 years we've been dealing with this. The story hasn't changed. The situation, if anything, it's not improving. How are they getting away with this? These are our children. These are our teachers. How is this government getting away with this?
I don't know how they're getting away with it, but I know that there's actual solutions to this that are very factual, very easy. There's low-hanging fruits out there that can be implemented to resolve this. And I think that's my only hope that I have right now, is that regardless of this debate that's kind of skewing the attention of 1,000, 1,500, that's kind of a theoretical debate. The real issue is fixed air quality. That's the action item, fixed air quality, regardless of the 1,000 or 15 or whatever. To do that, there's actual actions to be taken, like buying either HEPA filters or even allowing schools to build their own course horizontal boxes, which we've had a chance to discuss in the past. So these things, and there's a study that came out actually today from Japan that said that airborne viruses can be eliminated in about 10 minutes with these new HEPA air filters. And you know what? In Davos, the rich and famous in Davos, World Economic Forum last week had air purifiers in every single room. So there's many pictures circulating on the internet for every single room, whether it was an interview or there was a conference, there was a HEPA filter.
As you describe the situation, it seems kind of unbelievable that the government would not have simply said, okay, let's go ahead and do this and make this a priority. And I thought I read a number. Am I right in this? The government says it's already invested $400 million to improve air quality in schools, and we're still not there?
Yeah, and the people that are closer to the numbers than myself could tell you that this is general maintenance and it doesn't cover ventilation. So yeah, that's the problem, is that they're going to say we've thrown money at this issue, but that's not the solution. The solution is not to throw money, because money really doesn't resolve the issue here. You don't have to wait 5-10 years for major infrastructure work or rebuild schools to improve ventilation. There are small steps to take to help these classes right now. So yes, of course, we know that the level of infrastructure in Quebec is weak, and there's lots of millions and maybe billions to put into infrastructure. But in the interim, there's other solutions to look at that are very factual, very easy to put in place. And yes, a little money would be required, but and the amount of money that are being discussed has not proven to be the case. There's over $400 million that came from the federal government specifically for COVID aid and for ventilation, and there's never been a trace of that money publicly acknowledged. So.
And another $225 million that they plan to spend this year. How much would it cost to put an air purifier in every classroom, or these boxes, the homemade sort of purifiers?
Yeah, the amount of energy that they spend justifying their actions, it could be spent on buying these things. Like, it's $1,000 for a HEPA filter, and you may need 1 or 2 books per class, and it's $100 for a Corsi Rosenthal. I personally built 10 of them, and I hand delivered them to teachers across the schools in the Greater Montreal area. So, I mean, you do the math. There's 90,000 rooms or 76,000 classes. It's not a big amount compared to the billions that we're spending on some other topics in Quebec.
So we're both looking at each other saying, if that's the case, what's the government's excuse here for not going ahead and doing something that seems so logical and simple to pull off?
What they've used as a rationale was, at the beginning, air purifiers were dangerous if they were badly installed, which was made the laughing stock of the scientific community around the world. And they continue. If you look at the website, Quebec.ca, they still mention that air purifiers are somewhat dangerous or do not contribute to elimination of aerosol diseases or respiratory viruses, which is inadequate or is not factually true. Mm-hmm.
So, and then meanwhile, I mean, COVID still is definitely an issue in our schools, but I feel like we've completely lost track of it at this point. Like when we talk about learning to live with it, I guess we're there because we don't really, the numbers aren't reported. We don't really have a picture of what the real situation is, unless you do. Do you, Olivier? And we're not giving it the attention.
I still have anecdotal information coming from schools, but it's not enough to have an accurate picture. The INSPQ, the Research Institute in Quebec, is the closest to having a method to actually estimate the number of cases circulating, and they are saying on a weekly basis, it comes out every Wednesday, that it's between 20,000-30,000 cases per day that we have right now. Of course, this is completely under the radar. No media reports these numbers, but it's officially published every Wednesday. It's publicly available on the INSPQ website. I publish it on a weekly basis on Quebec.
Well, where is that relative to what it was, to be fair? Are we looking at anything better, same, worse?
We're in the wave. Currently, it's actually trending a little bit downwards. It's been extremely high in the past few months, of course, with the winter coming, and now it's trending a little downwards. Okay. Exactly.
I don't even really know the question left to ask here. We're running out of time, other than to try to understand. You mentioned the government's rationale in this. Okay.
It's just so disappointing, right? Like that the new ministers, we're ending up at the same situation with the last minister.
Same as the old minister, yeah. Is there a recommendation you could make, at least to parents who are hearing this and thinking, this is ridiculous, I want to do something? What should you do as a parent?
Air quality is not a COVID topic, right? Air quality, regardless of COVID or colds or influenza, it impacts the students' cognition level or ability to learn in class. When they come back home and they have a headache, they haven't been able to breathe for a few hours. So what parents can do is continue to advocate for these either Coursera rental boxes, which is very easy to implement. Science class or science project for students can build them. It's been done across Canada and around the world. They can actually talk to their teachers, because the way I've been able to implement about 10 of them is through teachers. So teachers made a case at their union or at the school direction, and they were able to get an exception. So continue to make the case for this. There's schools here where I live in Nuns Island where there's a parent that took it upon himself to measure CO2, send the results to the school board, and he was able to get the HVAC of the mechanical system repaired and put in place to reduce the CO2 levels. So there's actions as a citizen you can do to make your voice heard, like I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. Olivier, as I say every time we talk, keep up the good work. Thank God we have someone like you actually bringing this to light. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Olivier DROUIN from COVID, Écoles, Quebec. On Twitter, check it out because he does amazing work.